It's World Diabetes Day tomorrow, and yous have guessed it. I've got a personal story to share with yous, so stay tuned. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Confessions of a Doctorholic with Hafsa Slayman, and I've got some shocking news to share with yous, I guess. So, last year, my dad was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Now, there are quite a few different types of diabetes, but 90% of the population has type 2 and about 10% has type 1. And type 2 diabetes usually happens in people that are obese, and it happens to people later on in life. So my dad is a fit individual. He exercises heaps, he eats healthy, except for drinking tea. I don't know what it is with dad and tea. He just chugs that down. It's milk tea with sugar. So I don't reckon that's good for you. But basically, he chugs that down. He would have something between 3 to 5 cups of tea a day, sometimes more. I would say he generally has a good diet. Definitely needs improvement. But I would say overall, I'm quite proud of my dad. So you can imagine the shock that came in when he did a couple of tests and then they checked his HbA1c, which is basically your red blood cells over the last 3 months. So it gives you basically an estimate of the blood sugar over the last 3-month period. So my dad's blood sugar was elevated. And I feel like as a medical student, you kind of learn so much about medicine that everything starts freaking you out. And I'm not just talking about med student syndrome. I mean, when you look at your family, you notice things that you haven't noticed before. You notice things that you thought wasn't that important, and you're just kind of like, hang on, I've seen this in a textbook. This can't be right. When people walk down the street, you tend to want to diagnose them. Sometimes you diagnose them. Sometimes you're wrong. And at the very least, it would be with personality disorders. But that's something to talk about another day. But yeah, so basically, over the past few years, I would say, I've noticed that my dad's legs have had less hair. And it's mainly the extremity, so like closer to his foot. It's had less hair. And it was a bit worrying. So when the diagnosis came in, I kind of wasn't that surprised. Oh, and there was also another incident, which I forgot to mention. So dad got injured once and he didn't feel it at all. Like, it's supposed to be super painful. But my dad was kind of like, meh, it's all right. So overall, it just wasn't looking promising. And I'm talking to you about it right now, but to be honest with you, it's one thing to talk about a condition, but it's another thing knowing someone, especially someone so close to you, someone that you love heaps, with the condition. So freaking oath, I am so stressed about my dad. So I thought, let's talk about this. 1 in 10 people around the world has diabetes. 1 in 10 people. That's wild. That's like, I mean, right now with the coronavirus pandemic, you can have 10 people in your house. So imagine one of those 10 people, if you're having a party, 1 out of the people in your party will have diabetes. That's mind-blowing. And it happens because basically your body cannot keep up with the amount of insulin that it needs to release. So initially it starts off with sort of glitching, I guess. It can't release as much insulin. And it gets to the point where there's so much sugar in your body just cannot release any more insulin, and that's when you've got diabetes. And the reason why obese people have it more often than slimmer ones is because you've got this thing called insulin resistance, where your body is no longer reacting to the insulin that has been released by your pancreas in your body. So it gets to the point where your body is like, nah, can't take this anymore. I can't take in any glucose. I don't understand what this insulin thing wants me to do. So you've got elevated glucose. And it sounds beautiful. I've got a huge sweet tooth. I love desserts. So you would think that it doesn't mean much, but your body hates glucose. It literally causes so much damage all over your body. So you could get diabetic retinopathy, which basically means your eyes are affected. You could get nephropathy, which means your kidneys are affected. You could literally affect every single part of your body. Some people get gangrene, so you have to get amputated because you just don't feel what's happening with your toes. And you might get injured, you don't feel that, and then that gets infected and that gets nasty and you don't feel any of that. And then it gets so bad that you have to cut it off. That's scary, isn't it? Can you imagine? Like just one day going like, oh my God, like what just happened there? And you have to cut it off. It's just so scary. So here's the other reason why I wanted to talk to you about this. It's not enough just to know how severe this is. It's not enough to know why we need awareness and why we need to prevent this and control it in all of yous who have it. It's not enough. I want to tell yous how to deal with it. So let's start with all of yous that are pre-diabetic. Some people are just more predisposed to diabetes. You either have a family history, so you've got people in your family, kind of like me, people in your family that have diabetes. You might be obese, or maybe even the doctor tells you, oh, like, you know, you're pre-diabetic, you've got that insulin, you've got that glucose range, which is a little bit dodgy, which is a warning for you that you need to get your life together. And in other cases, you could be on some medications like steroids, which has caused it. So in general, if you're pre-diabetic, and I'm not talking about those of you who are on meds, I'm talking about some of you who are not as healthy, who have not been exercising as much, who have not been on a healthy diet, that is literally the first step for you. And nothing worth having comes easy, so it's going to be hard yakka. It's going to be so hard. It's going to be a difficult journey. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but I believe in you. So what you have to do is go online. One of my favorite exercise people is Cassie Ho. She's in charge of the show called Blogilates. It's all over YouTube. She's got free calendars online. She's got meal calendars as well. So I would say if you're coming into this exercise thing, you haven't started before, especially now with lockdowns in different places in the world and needing to do home routines, I would definitely go to her. Alternatively, I mean, if you're in a place, if you live in New Zealand or Australia, then I would say go to the gym with your friends. That is a great way to stay motivated. That's a great way to hold yourself accountable because you've got some other people that rely on you. So you need to go to the gym and you need to keep up this facade, I guess, for a while until you go like, I'm pumped, I'm super pumped to go to the gym. Do some classes. When I started going to the gym, I had no idea what a muscle up was. I had no idea what all those gym equipment do. It looks cool. It's great for pictures on the gram. Some guys look absolutely fly next to it. But in reality, I had no idea what to do with all of those equipment. So I would say go to those classes. And in terms of foods, there are some apps. So one of my favorite apps is MyFitnessPal. They give you some meal plan recipes, which are absolutely amazing. And you can count your calories. So that's for all of you that are pre-diabetic. If you do have diabetes, I know I'm moving on really quickly, but if you do have diabetes, you have to go to your doctor and you need to get so many checkups done. You need to check your eyes, you need to check your kidneys, you need to check like pretty much every part of your body. And they will put you on medications to keep your glucose under control. So, what I would say, stick to your meds. It's hard. I struggle with iron tablets when I had anemia. I struggle with taking the multivitamin. But you need to take your medications because ultimately this will be great for you in the long run. And in terms of meal plans, honestly, I was looking online for my dad because I was so keen to get him in a healthy routine and to fix up his diet mainly. Because I reckon between diet and exercise, I feel like he's exercising regularly, but his diet, generally good, tried to cut down his tea intake, failed miserably. So I was trying to look for some alternatives. So like some of those like fake sugar alternatives. I was looking at different things that I could do to help him have tea and have things that he enjoys, but up to a certain limit. So I looked online, and believe it or not, the diabetic diet is literally just a healthy diet. So you just have to have more veggies. You have to have low glycemic index carbs, so you need to be a little bit more carb conscious. And once again, I feel like I am pro app and technology. So there's a heap of apps out there that can support you as a diabetic person. So top on my list here that I looked online, 2 top apps, Fujicate and My Sugar. I haven't tried it out yet, to be completely honest. I will try it out as soon as I'm home, and I'll try it out on my dad, and I will keep you posted on how it goes. Rightio, guys, if you are a diabetic or a pre-diabetic, if you're struggling with anything that I've said, or if my word vomit has driven you up a wall, feel free to text me on the gram. So on Instagram, my handle is @Hafsa Suleiman, and I'll catch you next week.